and welcome to the Midwest Sesh podcast. This is a space where we enjoy all things weed, and we're so glad to have you here joining us. You can find us every Friday night as we share a joint virtually. Thanks for stopping by. Hi, welcome to the 9th episode of the Midwest Sesh podcast. I'm your host, Nina, with the lovely Haley.
Hello.
We hope you guys are doing well this week. It feels like a long one, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, time is dragging on. Is it fucking Friday or what, man?
I hear you.
Shit.
It's been a long week. Feels like a long time since I've talked to you, so I'm glad to be back. I think everyone shares that sentiment of like with the world opening back up, we all just are like, let's get this going. We're ready to get this show on the road.
Like it feels like real summer is coming, so like
yes.
The anticipation is even I don't know, greater, I guess, because I'm like I can do all the things outside, go to the beach and everything.
Yes, you know, this reminds me of senior year of high school where you have senioritis. You're like, I'm just not about this. I'm just not here for it. I'm here for summer.
You're just like staring out the window all day, every day, like TikTok, let's go.
Yes. I can't believe it. So for this episode, Nina and I want to dive deep into the world of Indica and Sativa and kind of talk about the differences there. And I also have a really funny story for you, Nina, that you will probably appreciate, I hope.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like that's the big question. Like, even like, you know, what do we call them? Like hardcore smokers and legendary smokers and stuff like that. We still have those questions. Like, what the hell is like, what really is the difference here? Are people lying to me?
Exactly.
Which sometimes, you know, could be the truth. What does this even mean? What is a hybrid? Are we mixing them together? What's going on?
Totally. You know? Yeah, it's not just a newbie question.
Yes, yeah, that's for sure. I think I was telling Haley that when I went to go do like a quick little Google search, some research for this episode, the first thing I typed in was, what is the difference? I didn't even type in anything. Maybe Google just knows me.
It knows you.
Knows my stoner brain or something. But I literally just typed in, what is the difference? And the first thing to come up was, what is the difference between an indica and sativa?
Yay. Hey, that says a few things. One is that your computer is probably spying on you, or that the internet's kind of stepping it up and people are like actually Googling this, so it's ranking it higher up, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a pretty, like I said, it's a pretty hot topic. So I'm excited to chat what the internet says, what we think, and everything in between. So.
And hear what other people think too. Like I don't know. It's such an interesting, like, divisive topic. Some people are like, it doesn't matter. Other people are like, it totally does. I only buy this certain type of flower or whatever. So it's a heated debate.
Yes, some people are very serious. Like they will fight you about it, and it's just like, dude, like I really like. I'm not going to fight about it. I'm going to smoke about it. So what if it's an indica or a sativa or anything in between, I'll smoke it. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm that person.
You know what? It's so funny. I just saw a meme this morning that was like, whenever I meet a sativa person, I want to ask them, what's it like to not have an anxiety disorder?
Yes. I saw that. When someone's like, I only smoke sativas, they're like, okay, dude, like you do not have anxiety. You are fine.
So that kind of like, I want to hear like what kind you gravitate towards. Are you more like, if you had to pick one versus the other, do you have a preference?
So I always used to say that I was a sativa diva. That's what we like to call folks who only smoke sativas. But I gotta say, I am just, like I said, if it's green, I'll smoke it. Like, is that wrong? Like, if it's purple, I'll smoke it too. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I usually go more based off of like the names, because I'm like, I'll try anything, you know, like I'll try any strain once, basically. So I definitely gravitate. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I have been grabbing more indicas lately.
Okay, that's what I thought for you, but I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Lately, I'd say indica. Okay. What about you?
I have always been an indica person, like through and through and through, like only that. So, yeah, that's like me. Like whenever my friends get together and like we're all, enjoying weed, I'm always the indica one, like the heaviest
Yeah.
OG Kush, the heaviest,
Yeah.
Mag Mile, those kind of like big old, and not just at night, like we're talking all day.
All day, every day. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you smoking on today?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so as we're chatting about it,
Yeah.
I'm smoking on some cereal milk, which,
What?
yes, I've heard.
Beautiful name.
Yes, I've heard of it before. I've heard of it in the world of cookies, like burner cookies.
Yes.
I knew that was one of their strains. I don't know if that's like proprietary to them or not. I guess I should do a little googling, but it just says it's cookies and cherry pie. So it's a sativa dominant for sure for this one.
Okay, sativa. Does it taste like cereal milk at all, or like any cookies flavor?
It's definitely more of that like sweet, like you know the ice cream cake cream, like biscotti type.
Yes.
Creamy situation. So it's pretty good. I'm digging it. It's really pretty.
Is it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You always get names that sound delicious to me, like banana stuff and like cookies and cereal. I like that you always gravitate towards that because that's like, you can't go wrong. There's never a time that you're going to be like, I hate this.
Oh, no, you can go wrong. I've been wronged before. Yes. One time in California, I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago, I picked a cart that was by Select, which is I think we have them here in Illinois now too. And the strain name was Juicy Fruit, okay? And so like when I'm talking juicy fruit, like what does your mind imagine?
Oh, like it's that delicious gum and like a happy, uplifting like mango fruit situation. Like that's what I think.
Wrong. No.
Wrong.
It was like chewing on a clove of garlic. Like I was eating an Olive Garden every time you like hit this pen.
No,
that's swear.
Not good.
I had to chew. Maybe they call it juicy fruit because I had to chew gum while I was smoking it, or else I literally had garlic breath. Like it was
crazy,
dank, stanky. I was like, I can't be walking around on vacation with this. Like I'm warding off vampires here. Like it was serious. It was serious. I was like, I'm actually gonna look that strain up right now because I was like, what is this?
See, that's a classic case of like the marketing just not fitting.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, maybe that's technically like the genetic name, but let's go ahead and call it something so people that buy it like kind of know what they're in for, like that's marketing wrong.
Yes. Okay, so I'm looking it up and it's a cross between Afghani and Thai. Have you ever had either of those?
Yeah.
Like those are like it says it's sweet with notes of fruit punch, lemon, plums, and tropical pina colada. But I'm telling you, this shit was garlic. It was an Italian dinner.
Garlic and Italian dinner.
Yes.
Terpenes.
Yes, those were the terps. Like, because to me, like Afghani and Thai are just really like, bodacious. Like they just take up your whole palate.
Right. That's so strange.
Them together, I thought it was just whoo. That name led me astray, though. I'm gonna tell you.
I bet a lot of people feel this way, where they're like, you know what? I was so excited to get home with this, and then I get home and it's not at all what I thought. And especially in Illinois, when you can't smell the weed, you have to just buy it prepackaged, and you're like, well, hope that when I get home, this smells tasty. This is all I have.
What are you smoking on this week?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Nina, I'm so excited. So this is kind of what preempted this episode. I bought a sativa straight up, like for the first time in a long time, and it's Maui Wowie, like classic. Yeah.
Yes.
But I have it not in bud. It's in it's just in a cartridge, like an Aero Pro cartridge.
Your new fave.
My new fave. So yeah. But it is actually what you would think of like with the juicy fruit, like very bright, very, fruit forward. It tastes like real weed, which is surprising for a vape. Like sometimes you get them and they're like very one note, one flavor,
Yes,
but this one has like, it's a full mouthful of like delicious floral, like tastes like a Hawaiian flower.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yes. I've had Maui.
So good.
Wowie before, but only in a cart too. I haven't been able to find the flower.
Okay, yeah. I've only had it in flower, never, and it was like many years ago. So this is like, it was exciting to see on the video. And when I bought it, it was funny. The bud tender was like, "You and a bunch of old men have been buying this."
Yeah, because that's one of the, I was gonna say, that's one of the, like, I feel like a classic strain that you cannot find. Like, I read these, like, you know, Leafly or whatever articles that are like top 10 strains, whatever, and that's one of them that I feel like in Illinois and in Michigan I've never seen like flower wise. But I've gotten it in carts, so I don't know. I don't know. It must be like that dad weed situation where it's like, I had this back in the day and it was everything I've ever wanted. You know?
Oh, I've heard so many people say that. Like, oh, if it was like the weed I had back in the day. And this one, it does feel like that. Like I have to tell you how this went last night. I always smoke indicas, like day in, day out. Like I wake up and smoke a heavy indica. In the middle of the day after work, you know, I'm going to use that all day. Some people use sativas during the day, like indicas at night, you know, and switch. But I'm like, no, I just do indicas all day. So the other day I bought this and I was like, I wonder what my life would be like if I tried, you know, mixing this up. Like, is it actually different to have a straight up sativa, you know, during the day? So yesterday I went through all day at work. I did not smoke or anything. And then after work, I ripped this pen super hard. And I was washing my face and I literally just like heard, don't laugh at this.
Please tell me.
I was washing my face and I literally just heard like Jimi Hendrix guitar licks in my
Stop. I love that. That's the best.
Like all along the watchtower, just like really hippie stuff that I don't even really like listen to. But it was just like, have you ever gotten so high that you like kind of hear music in your head?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So I was like, maybe. So anyway, I washed my face and I like come out and I like tell my husband, I was like, wow, this sativa, I like hear music in my head. And I'm like, what smiling.
The fuck? He's like, go to bed.
Yeah, he was like, okay, cool. He was really nice. But I just like walked around the house like all night, just like in this really good uplifted mood. And I also noticed that like my face felt different. Like, I don't know, when I hit like a bong or something, I rip it to the point that my face is like tired.
Yes.
You know, where it's just like really like my eyes are really having a hard time kind of thing. But this one, I ripped it equally as hard and I didn't have that. I was just like clear-eyed, happy, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I love it. I love that. So that's flipped your perspective a little bit?
I think so. Like, I think I could get into this. It almost feels like a totally different substance, if that makes sense. Like, I know it's weed and I still feel relaxed, but I also just feel like this alertness and like happiness that's really weird. I don't know. I've not felt it before.
Yeah, I love that. I've definitely heard that, like, if you are a seasoned smoker and you find yourself like hitting that like tolerance wall, to definitely switch up. Like, if you always smoke indica, like grab a sativa. If you're always like smoking sativa, grab an indica. Like so that's why I always try to keep a couple on deck to like rotate out to, you know what I mean? So I can like get those different effects and not always be like smoking the same type of like profile, I guess.
Oh, you're so smart. Like that actually makes sense because like just like you develop a tolerance to THC itself, like I'm sure you probably kind of somewhat build up a tolerance to the terpenes and like the flavor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Dang, that's so smart.
You know, I don't know. I'll have to do some more digging on that one for sure. But that's another thing. Like a lot of people say, don't purchase based off of indica, hybrid, sativa, that label to focus on those terpenes. And if you don't know what terpenes are, they are the like flavor profile. I guess like the flavor. In cannabis, and terpenes are everywhere. It's not just in cannabis.
Yeah. And like at my work, we sometimes have to go into like, what are terpenes? Why are they in there? You know, all that. And we like tell people it's kind of like the essential oils of the cannabis plant, basically. And the other thing is at our work, we use this analogy of like THC is driving the vehicle forward. And your method of ingesting is like your foot on the gas, right? Like if you're gonna hit a bong, that's like hitting that gas hard. You're moving that thing forward. And if you're just like, you know, slight little vape situation that's really low milligrams, you're just kind of tapping that gas, forward.
Yeah.
And then the terpenes are the wheel. They steer it in a certain direction. Like, oh, we're going in this creative route. Oh, we're going in this really cerebral, dreamy route. Like whatever, like that kind of vibe, that's the terpenes that are like really telling you like what mood you're in,
Right.
So that makes sense. It's almost like kind of like next level aromatherapy. Like people that are really into that, like, oh, when I'm depressed, I just put a little peppermint oil on on my wrist. It's kind of like that. So in that way, I don't know what you feel like, Nina, but that's where I feel like it does matter and it doesn't matter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah, because I think, and something else to think about is like when those terpenes work together, like you get different effects. They call that the entourage effect. And it's kind of like seasonings. Like I think of it like, when you're making a dish and you're going to put like garlic and onion powder and like paprika or whatever, that makes one dish. But if you put different seasonings on it, it would be a totally different tasting dish.
That's actually so smart of an analogy. And it like all brings it together where like adding a little salt brings out different flavors you wouldn't have thought of. And like, actually, that makes so much sense.
And, and that's really interesting. A lot of folks don't know about that. They go based off of those labels. And I'm looking at some of these charts that I found in my little Google search.
Yeah. What'd you find?
I'm going to read, let's see, this one is from, a little dandy called Cresco Labs.
A little dandy.
And so, like physically, the plants are different, like the way that they look. The sativa and the indica plant. So like those physical differences are pretty obvious,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if we want to learn about that, but if you do, the sativa is taller and slimmer. The leaves are longer and thinner. But for an indica, you've got a shorter and bushier leaf, where they are shorter and wider. So if she's thick, she's an indica.
Fun fact for y'all, and we're gonna have a quiz at the end here. I'm just kidding.
Don't get too ripped. There will be a quiz.
That's your teacher advice. Don't get too ripped. That's good.
And then,
I was gonna say, do you have like I don't know. To me, when I think of sativas, I always think of them as a little bit lower THC.
Yeah,
like you're not finding like a 35% or like flower. We're talking like with sativa, but those heavy hitters, like the big ones, like Brownie Scout won a High Times award, for Illinois, and that's like super heavy indica, and it was like 38% THC. Oof. It was like, what? How does that even be possible? So that's like another difference. But I would say like when I'm trying to talk to people, I try not to like freak them out too much about indica and sativa. Like maybe try one of each and then see what you think.
Yeah, see how you feel.
You're not gonna like hate one. I don't think people are gonna just straight up hate the effects of it. Like weed is weed, It's kind of like, that's how I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
My husband's like, yeah, it's kind of like alcohol. Like you don't just go into a store and buy it based on the alcohol, like the percentage. The percentage, alcohol. Right? You want an experience. You want, So that's how I feel.
Yeah, there's definitely been times where friends have come to me as their resident weedologist, I guess, and have asked me like, help me pick something out. And a friend of mine, she was like, listen, I had this strain. It like my heart was pounding. I was shaky. She was like, I've never felt this way after smoking before. Like, what could it be? And I was like, well, what was a strain?
Right.
And I looked it up. And this girl was smoking like a crazy sativa. Like crazy sativa, and it was like super high in limonene. Yes. I always suck at saying that one. Which is like that lemony type situation. Yeah. And that one really is like uplifting. That's why you were saying about the sativa and the anxiety, because like I feel like that really kind of like gets you pumping for some reason. Yeah. Like if you think of like, the burst of a lemon, like lemonade, you know what I'm saying? Like it's fresh, it's bright. And
same thing. Yeah.
And so like it was that, and then there was like something else. I think maybe was caryophyllene, which is like that peppery type situation. Yes. So like the combination of those two, I was like, stay away, because this is probably what's freaking you out. And like a lot of people have had that similar. I think it was a cookies type strain, like maybe it was like a lime cookies or something she was smoking. And a lot of people in the comments had been like, my heart was racing, like I wasn't too into this one, just because like it gave that anxiety
yeah,
instead of taking it away.
It's so interesting too, because everyone's so different. So like what you might feel is like, oh, this is just how the strain is. Another person may smoke that and not at all get that effect. It's so interesting. So just kind of feel it out. Like
if you look, like I'm looking at this chart again, and the sativa says head high, alertness, uplifting and euphoric, creativity, increased energy. But like for some people that could have, you know what I mean, be that flip side of like too alert, like like I'm nervous, like paranoid, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, like it just affects everyone so differently. So like when people ask me stuff like that, I'm like, I'm giving you what I know, what I've experienced. You know, that's why you always have to take this stuff with like such a grain of salt, and I feel like try it for yourself.
Totally. And I mean, like, you know, you're in the marketing world, but like a lot of this is they have to pick one camp or the other. Like, truth is, basically every weed nowadays is a hybrid. There's not hardly any that are like pure one way or the other. So they just have, as a company, they're like, okay, this is mostly a sativa because it's kind of a tall, skinny plant. So we'll just label it that. But like, you know, take that with a grain of salt.
It's a lot of it is generalizing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
kind of like, I don't know, would you say this is a bad analogy? Like, a little bit like dark roasted coffee beans versus light. Like some people are like, oh, I love a light blonde roast. It's so uplifting and whatever. And a dark roast is more like, you know, like a moody, mysterious kind of feeling. And it's like, I mean, it's very slight. It's not like
very slight. Yeah. It just has to do with like the roasting of the beans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just a slight change that one person notices and the other doesn't.
Right. Yeah. So it's so tricky. Everyone's so freaking different. And I was going to say too, I bet set and setting has to play into this a huge, huge amount. Like if you're already a little bit anxious or you had kind of like a wonky day of like, oh, but your boss called you and you're thinking about a bunch of stuff from the day and then you just get ripped. Like it could, you know, super go the wrong way, especially 100%. If it's sativa. But if you're, you know, like, hey, I want to enjoy this. I'm with my family. I'm doing this. You know, it's going to mostly be a good time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely like setting the scene and preparing yourself for that sesh kind of sets the mood.
Prepare for the sesh.
Prepare
I love
for
that.
The sesh.
Nina, you should like lead a guided meditation for a session. I would listen to that every day of my life.
Like, everyone pick up your lighters and now light your bowl.
Yeah.
I love
that. Yeah, I love it. I would turn that on. I also feel like meditating and smoking weed are both like gratitude practices. So it's really like works together.
I love that.
That's great. I have one last question for you. Okay. You got to pick one indica and you got to pick one sativa that are going to last you your whole life.
Okay.
And you only can smoke these two strains. What are you going for?
What are the classics? That's tough. You have to answer this next, so you better be thinking.
Okay.
Let's see. That's tough. Okay, so recently, I know this is probably like a basic bitch strain at this point. You know how we have those Weed Maps top whatever. This is probably on there this year, whatever. But I had some biscotti, which to me is like a pretty heavy indica. Half the time, like I said, half the time I don't even know what I'm picking up. I just buy by the name and then find out later.
Right.
And I just like I like that creamy taste. It's pretty. I love a pretty bud. Let's see. It like, I think that it does a true job of an indica, where that one definitely relaxes me, puts me in kind of like a chill mood in like the sleepy zone, you know?
Yeah, sleepy zone. Like you could go to sleep. Like what else? I feel like I like an indica for movies too, you know, like that kind of situation. Like not going to sleep, but straight chilling. So yeah.
And
okay, biscotti. That's good.
I've been leaning more in the indica world just when I'm like doing work at home, because I feel like it, like sometimes I get like a little, I'm not gonna lie, I get a little salty about work. The attitude comes out like real strong. People are annoying the shit out of me. I'm like, damn, I need to smoke a bowl. So I'll pack in like a nice indica and it'll calm me down, put me in the zone. You know what I mean? Just like mellow, it'll mellow out my mood in a way that it like makes me productive.
That
you know
what
I mean?
Makes sense. Like it applies, like rounds the edges out.
yeah. Like it applies that mellow in a different way versus like go to sleep, you know?
Totally. Yeah. That makes sense. I like that you solved that where you're like, I'm in a kind of grumpy mood and people are getting on my nerves. Let's go ahead and
it's for their sake, I'll tell you.
It's for their blessing, let me tell you.
Yes.
That's great.
Sativa. Okay, let's see.
It's a hard one. Also, I love this scenario. Wherever we are with unlimited weed, I'm for it.
Yes, I'll smoke the same 2 ones forever if it's free.
Please, yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. It's Tropicana. I think that's a hybrid.
But it's kind of I think it's a sativa hybrid, if I remember right. Yeah,
I bought it. Googling. Let's see.
Yeah, I feel like I bought that before and it was nice.
See, anything Tropicana gets me in a good mellow mood, so that's why I'm like, is it
right?
Let's see. So the General Tropicana cookies is a cross between Girl Scout cookies and Tangy.
Oh, Tangy. I love that one. That's so great.
Dude, Tangy Biscotti, that's the number one thing I've ever smoked. If you ever see Tangy Biscotti, you better scoop it up.
Combined, yes. Okay, I'm writing this down for you. If I ever run across this, I'm buying this for you.
That's
Tangy Biscotti, yes.
The place that I got it was in Portland in 2016. I think that's when I went to Portland. And I have not been able to find it since. But it was... That was my favorite. Good. It was like that. I think that's what, you know what I mean? It brought in the Biscotti, it brought in the Tangy, which Tangy was like a pretty fave of mine, but I kind of feel like I got because that's a pretty heavy sativa, Tangy. Totally. And I feel like I kind of got sick of that one.
Yeah. I also, when I worked at the dispensary and we had people who are like, I want to try a sativa for the first time. I'm like really scared because I don't do this. We would always send them over to Tangy and nobody had a bad time with it, even though it's a high sativa. Yes. It's just like the way that it tastes like Sunny D, you're just not going to have a bad time. Like it's just so like, oh, nice.
100%. So,
yeah. That's a great choice. Like either Tropicana or Tangy.
Yeah. So I also go ahead.
What was the Tropicana? I already forgot. My stoner brain
I don't know. I feel like that one is more of a hybrid situation.
Okay.
The dominant terpene is caryophyllene.
Okay.
Which is that peppery.
Yeah.
Peppery boy. It says uplifted and euphoric. So I want to say it's more sativa leaning. So that's one of my faves. Anything Tropicana cookies, Tropicana cherries, Tropicana anything. Give it to me. And another one that I like is Jack Hare. And that's pretty dominant.
I forgot about that. Great choice.
That one's pretty dominant in the caryophyllene too. It's got that peppery uplifting situation.
That was the one, Jack Hare, or however you say it. I never have known.
Yeah.
That one we always sold to veterans with PTSD. Like they always were like, you know what? This does something to me, in the most positive way. So we always sold so much of that. And most people don't know that was like a real guy. Yes. I was like, yeah, you should Google it. I was like, get in a Google hole. Trust me, smoke that and look him up. You'll be happy you did.
Yes. Yes. It was named after Jack Hare. I'll do a little ding for you. It says, here from Leafly, it's a sativa dominant cannabis strain that has gained as much renown as its namesake. He was a marijuana activist and author of The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Yes. What a guy. Man, there's probably so many founding fathers of cannabis that I should appreciate and don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, there's a handful that I can think of, but it's be real. There has to be thousands of people that were pioneers in this way. So thanks, Jack Hare. Thanks for all you've done for us.
For sure.
He's passed away, I'm pretty sure.
Now, I think so too.
But those are good choices. I'm getting intel on you, Nina, for when your birthday rolls around again, when Christmas rolls around. I'm gonna know what you like.
All right, now you tell me yours.
I'm trying to think. I mean, these are kind of boring answers, but the one indica I would smoke the rest of my life is OG Kush. Just classic.
Classic.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
90s classic. I would always love that. But I like indicas for just reducing my anxiety. And it's funny because I don't know. I feel like I'm an indica personality. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. A lot of my friends are more awake and enthusiastic. I'm just kind of very just middle road emo kind of all the time. So So I just feel like my personality is just kind of indica. So that's why when I tried the sativa, I was like, maybe I've been missing this the whole time. This is the yin to my yang. Like,
yeah, it's a secret element.
Yeah. Okay, so OG Kush all day, every day. And then my sativa all day would be probably something really intense like green crack.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Like, you're gonna laugh at that, but back in the day when I worked at the dispensary, we got free samples, like so many per week, from the cultivators, and nobody at the dispensary would smoke green crack. Nobody. They were like, nope, don't want that. And so there'd just be all these joints for free just sitting in this bucket. I would be like, give them to me, and I'll trade you my
hell
indica.
Yeah.
And so I would literally smoke a green crack joint before bed and just go to
hell
sleep.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's all about what you're doing anyway. So it wasn't like it made me feel like racy or like I did like hard drugs by any means.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's definitely one. Whenever I see that name, I laugh. I'm like, who the hell?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what? Whose idea was this?
It's actually banned. I want to say it was banned for a minute in Illinois, and they had to call it Green Kush because we had to change the stickers. Yeah. And I was like, who cares? Like, if you're in this dispensary, nobody cares about this. But they're like, we don't want to trash up the name. It was one of those where they like changed it. So,
yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen it around in a while. I feel like they potentially was renamed, or like a cultivator named it its own little thing, like they'd like to do here.
Right. Yeah, it's a catchy, memorable name. So yeah, those are my two. But we'd love to hear too what like other people consider their classic sativa indica combos. Like, wouldn't it be funny if you did like a dating profile and that was like the information on there? Like, your name, your age, your preferred sativa, your preferred indica.
We're gonna make a. I love that we're both in committed relationships, but here's my idea: nobody steal it. TM. We could call it Puff Puff Pass, and it's a stoner dating app, which probably exists or something. And if you want to hang out with them, you swipe right to Puff Puff, and then you swipe left to Pass.
That's that's good. So it's not a dating site necessarily. It's more like a smoking friend site.
Or then you're just looking for a boo who smokes.
That's actually really great. I love that.
Oh my God, nobody steal it. Yeah, this is recorded.
If you do, Nina is your business partner officially.
I will find you. Intellectual property, TM. That's how I'm protecting myself. Don't get a lawyer. I don't think this will hold up in court.
Oh God, man. On this note, I would love to have a lawyer friend. Please, God, somebody come be our lawyer.
Come our way, please.
Yes. I've always wanted someone that's like, oh, she can't answer that. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
One day.
All right.
Well,
okay, we should toast.
Yes. I'm so glad you told us all about your newfound sativa diva lifestyle that you're living.
I'm here to stay. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I hope maybe somebody learned a little something from us. That'd be pretty cool.
Hey.
And I hope yes. So cheers to learning. If you want to do a little research, the internet is your friend. About terpenes and the Entourage Effect and everything that we mentioned. We'll pop it in the episode description so you guys can do a little learning this weekend.
It's fun to get stoned and Google things. Isn't that what we all like to do anyway?
Yes, 100%. So cheers to being stoned and learning.
Woo!
Yay!
Your bong rip was good today. I love
that.
Yeah. Like, all right. Have a good week, everybody.
All right, everyone. Stay high, stay happy.
Ooh, love that.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for checking out the Midwest Sesh podcast. You can come back and smoke weed with us every Friday night. Go ahead and head over to YouTube if you want to subscribe to our Midwest Sesh channel there, or you can DM us on Instagram at Midwest Sesh Pod. We'd super appreciate it if you gave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. All right, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. welcome to the Midwest Sesh podcast. This is a space where we enjoy all things weed, and we're so glad to have you here joining us. You can find us every Friday night as we share a joint virtually. Thanks for stopping by.